Good afternoon, Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise fans. Hope you're all doing well as we start, for at least a lot of us, a holiday weekend here in the U.S. and Canada. I am Moonblaze Wolf. I am joined today in the commentary booth by Bursic Badger, and we got a match between another Badger, Classy Badger, today, going up against Gundampilotspaz here in the Hook Route. Gundampilotspaz came out of the Siren group. I was looking over their early results and also their first loss here in the Hook Route, and I think they have been having some really close races, multiple races by less than 10 minutes that they lost by. So I'm sure Spaz is really hoping to get on the win column today after so many close races. And Classy Badger came out of the Soldier group. Also had some very difficult competition in that group, Dusty Griff, Revenant, among others. And I'm sure also both of our runners really want to get a win on the board today, because this is an elimination match. So the winner will keep their hopes of advancing out of the Hook group alive, and the loser will go to 0-2 and officially be eliminated, and they will be playing just for kind of bragging rights next week. So that's kind of where we're at with this race and the racers. And Bursic, I'm going to turn it over to you to take a look at our set of 4 objectives here.
Thanks, Blaze. Yeah, it looks like not too much going to be gating us today. Last objective, defend Kabul, like free right away, can just fly there. Going to be looking for the Baron key to liberate Baron Castle, and just the Darkness Crystal to get up and do the Crystal Sword altar where Wyvern is usually sitting in the vanilla game. And of course the Forge objective, if they can find the Legend and the Adamant.
Yeah, this is the kind of potpourri, I guess, sort of objective list, kind of looking it over here, that could go really fast depending on where things are at. So we know that the Darkness Crystal is going to be on the Earth or in the Underground somewhere anyways. So a lot of it's going to come down to where that Baron key is or where the Excalibur pieces are. And we also have a Palom start here, it looks like. So I don't want to speak for both of our runners, but I know I'm always happy with a Quake Kid start. I mean, what do you think, Bursic? Is this looking pretty good?
Yeah, Palom can be great early game. Gets those second level, lit fire ice spells pretty fast and not too far behind Virus and Quake. So shouldn't take much to get him online, especially if they've got a Hook route. They're probably going to want to see that.
Yeah, for sure. He ramps up into those powerful spells really quick. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. We see Spaz putting the finishing touches on. It looks like an FF6 naming scheme here. Very nice. We don't know if Classy Badger maybe also has a naming scheme, but I'm sure we will find out soon enough. So I think we'll be getting underway here momentarily. We hope you're all doing well today, chat. Hope your weekend is off to a cozy start. And we're here for several races today. This is the first of several restreamed races, and we're really happy to have you here. Working behind the scenes today, we've got Scala Kitty on the restream and Kinda Nerdy Housewife doing the tracking for us today. So we got a good crew here. We're going to enjoy this race, and it looks like they are underway.
Oh, got the twins right away, Palom and Porum. And
so we got one of each. Yep, Sand Ruby and a Leviathan. That Leviathan in that spot, probably not too bad.
Yeah, especially if you got Palom up to the Virus, like that's going to go down pretty quick.
With the objective set, that is potentially a required boss, so I'm sure our runners were kind of curious who was going to be greeting them there in Baron Castle. So, and we get that Sand Ruby, which I think a lot of times, when we see a Sand Ruby start in the table flag set in a couple weeks, that's going to be a little bit more interesting because that is a gated character check in that format, so it could be like an Edge or something like that. But in this flag set, we are using C relaxed, so really it could just be any character, but at the same time it is a free character check, so we'll see how our runners choose to route that in. It looks like Gundampilotspaz is headed straight for Kaipo, actually.
Yep, gonna get by Kaipo-ness there. while Classy Badger's gone up to Damsian, gonna get the Treasury Trek and probably check out the character there as well.
Yep, for sure. So we'll see what these these early loots look like. I saw a Siren there for Classy Badger, and it is Yang in the Kaipo bed. So we're going to grab a Punch Mage to join our Black Mage and our White Mage here early on, it looks like. It is going to be a little bit interesting in the early stages of this seed to see if our runners are doing a little bit more, perhaps aggressive routing, because this is an elimination match, or if they stick to a little bit more of a traditional route. Looks like Classy Badger finds a Kane at Damsian, so not a bad character there.
Looks like Gundampilotspaz is going to follow right behind, check Damsian, while Classy Badger heads... First, I'm going to head into the Watery Pass, do some looting, if any of the chests are actually full, it looks like. And we got a Rosa there, too. We want to... Well, depending on your opinion, a different White Mage.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I want a Rosa in every single party. Not even in this format, just in this game in general. Rosa is just like such a valuable party member with that hit points and the level that she learns certain spells that are just really, really good. So we see that pick up for Classy Badger, and we may end up doing multiple White Mages here. We'll have to see. Looks like a lot more empty chests waiting for Classy Badger here in the back half of Watery Pass as well.
Yeah, I don't mind hanging on to both of the twins a little early on. Twin can do a lot of work, but long game, like you said, especially as I look at it, Rosa's HP pool, getting her up Big Bang safe late game is a lot easier than trying to get pouring the levels to get to 2000, 2200, survive those.
Yeah, for sure. Porum is a little bit harder or a little bit more risky, let's say, to take to Zeromus. Now, at the beginning of the game, it's actually going to be really beneficial, kind of like you were saying, to maybe keep that Porum around for a little bit. We can do Twin Magic with Palom and Porum, which is going to be really nice for getting through maybe some of these early checks. Speaking of early checks, there is a Edge on top of Hobbs. That is huge for Classy Badger.
Yeah, that's an easy pickup right there. And behind something that shouldn't be too tough. Just some kind of guard fight here. It looks like the Kaipo guards. So these front guys are going to have almost no HP. Go down real quick.
Yeah, this is a nice find for sure. I think if you ask any runner in these group flag stage flags, they're going to tell you finding that early edge is always just like a really, really exciting thing, and just sort of puts a lot of the early to mid game in easy mode, and maybe allows you to kind of focus on doing things in a slightly different order than you would otherwise.
Yep, and as our tracker, kind of nerdy housewife points out in chat, like being the new Fu, well, there's only two characters that are gated if you're using a more advanced character flag set, and that's Fu and Edge. And Fu not appearing in these flags. Edge is a real powerhouse when he shows up.
It'll be interesting with Classy Badger we'll keep an eye out for maybe like a swap for like an anchor, but I would say from where I am, or what my preferences are, and every runner's a little bit different, but Classy Badger is like one anchor away from having just a really ideal party for the entire rest of the seed here.
Yeah, and with Rosa's utility, I mean, she could be an archer most of the game until you're looking at Z, and then maybe if you find a cursed ring, slap that on Porum, and that could be your anchor right there.
Yeah, there's definitely some good options that way. As we see Classy Badger now in Antlion, Gundampilotspaz doing a little bit of looting. I saw Dwarf Axe for sale in that Mist weapon shop, which is a really nice weapon for Kane, which I believe Gundampilotspaz still has in his party right now, because I don't think either of our runners has gone to Mysidia yet. But Bursik, why is a Dwarf Axe such a good pickup, especially when you got a cane?
It lets you back row glitch them. Something that exists in the vanilla game and is carried over to the randomizer is anytime you equip something on a character that would let them do normal damage from the back row or to the back row, like say arrows and a bow, or Dwarf Axe also fits in that category. Edges, boomerangs also fit. That back row bit is on for the rest of the game. So, just equip that, and for just a moment in the menus, switch back to something more powerful. Cane, you'd love to see something like a defense sword. And then also, if you're in a pinch for finding that agility anchor late game, Dwarf Axe also has -5 agility to it. So not something you generally want to keep on all the time, but it does decent damage early game and has a little utility outside of that.
Yeah, it's a really good utility weapon. That's an excellent summary for sure. And we got the comets raining down on the Beigen that Classy Badger has found here in Antline Cave, so no problems there. It'll be interesting to see if Gundampilotspaz is able to locate an edge anywhere else, or maybe does that Hobbs check at some point. We definitely don't see runners checking Hobbs as much right now because there's a lot of other character options. Oh boy, I'm going to stop right there. Big find for Classy Badger.
Oh yeah. I mean, now you're just looking for a way underground and a way to the moon, and I mean, we're in go mode. Really, technically wouldn't even need to go underground if you just found the darkness crystal and you could find a way to level up.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because none of our objectives at this point will require being underground, unless for some reason we find the legend sword and the adamant before we find the darkness crystal. That might keep you from maybe going to the moon, but so yeah, that is a big find for Classy Badger. Basically guarantees go mode once all of those access paths are found here. And because the darkness crystal will also get you to Zeromus. So that's a huge, huge find early on here. And also should be noted when we're thinking about grinding for levels later on, Classy Badger already has that edge. We already talked about how good Edge is, but Edge is also capable of stealing sirens in this format from the alerts underground. So if a shop, for example, doesn't have those sirens, Classy Badger is still going to be in a really good position to grind if that is the way that he wants to go to get ready for the final fight.
Yeah, and that's going to be one difference when we get to the table flags, is the sirens being part of the drop and loot tables has been disabled there. Also, Gundampilotspaz did the Mysidia check, also found a Cursed Ring in the armor shop there, but I don't think they had enough to buy one quite yet.
It's good to know where that is, and actually it being in Mysidia is not too bad, because you're probably going to end up back there at some point to launch the big whale, so can kind of keep that information for later. Also saw double Sid in the Mysidia character pickup, so yeah, no other edge to be found so far. I don't think either of our runners has checked the Baron Inn character, but Classy Badger could be in a position to really kind of press this advantage here early on. The longer he is the one runner out of our two runners that has that edge, while Gundampilotspaz does not.
Yep, and probably going to get our first objective finished for the race here, depending on what shows up. Bahamut. With the starting kit and a few star veils, this should be pretty easy.
Yeah, you might not even need those star veils with the edge in your party, but it'll be nice and safe either way here for our runners, I suspect.
Oh yeah, got some little rocks falling there too. This shouldn't be too bad. And then, we'll also have the character check at the Baron Castle, which, given the location of the Baron Key, I'm sure we're going to see them happen on both sides.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting decision here to see where Classy Badger goes next, because he's got a party that can really just kind of tear through this early game, including the Liberate Baron Castle check. I'm kind of curious to see if he goes and does like the Baron Inn into Baron Castle kind of combo and stays away from Ordeals, or if Ordeals is the next stop.
Yep, and with Fabul, we just got the hook there. That could be our route underground if we do indeed end up going underground at all. But without Atella, without Cecil with a good weapon, Ordeal's probably not a priority in this seat.
We'll see. I mean, a hook route, Ordeals is probably a little bit more appealing if it is going to be a suspected hook route, just because it gives you one more chance maybe to pick up that magma key, or look for Demist if you haven't found Demist yet, and that would be your preference. So we'll see. I think that either way, Classy Badger has a party that is more than capable of taking out some of these early fights. And we do see Gundampilotspaz going and finding that edge here too, so that'll be a nice upgrade for him. I suspect he will go ahead and do this now. Yep.
Yep. And dropping out that Yang for that he picked up at the Sand Ruby for Edge. I mean, given that Edge can equip the same claws and get the same elemental bonuses off of them, that's usually not too hard a choice to make.
Yeah, if one situation that could come up here for Classy Badger a little bit later on would be having that Sand Ruby, and it is possible, since that is like, you can kind of decide when you want to turn that in. So if Classy Badger needs an anchor later on, we may see him go cash in that Sand Ruby right at the very end of the game, depending on how things go as well.
Yeah, and he's headed back to Baron. It's checking out the item shop right now. Wonder if he'll stick around and start banging out these checks here.
Yeah, I think Silk Webs were for sale, which is a pretty nice pickup here. And yeah, it would not surprise me, since this was his next stop, if we're going to see the Baron combo play here.
Yeah, checking out the weapon and armor shop here. Because this is gated behind a key item, you can find some of the better loot in this shop. I think it's going to be on the same tier as all the underground shops and the Upland Cave weapon and armor shops.
That was a really that weapon shop was like custom designed for his party too. It had a Gungnir spear, a full moon, samurai arrows, and an ice claw. That was pretty wild, just how like in tune with Classy Badger's party that weapon shop was.
Yeah, pretty stacked there. We got a first boss here, real low HP on all of this. Gonna be Mylan and friends.
They're just trying to enjoy a couple drinks at the bar after their long day protecting Mount Ordeals, and then these guys come in and decide to elbow in on their little party here. And then we've got a vanilla karate in the second fight. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Again, with Edge, with his entire party, it shouldn't be much of a problem.
Yeah, this should go just fine as long as Classy Badger keeps his sort of important party members alive, because this spot is very slow, and he should be able to just kind of outrace everything. That was some nice twin damage, too.
Yeah. Also saw Kane go down there pretty fast, but meanwhile, we've got Gundampilotspaz doing the Fagul check right now. Gonna see those Kaipo guards. That should be pretty free. Or sorry, it's not. It's Bahamut.
Also pretty free.
Yeah.
This just means the hook route's going to be extra rude, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if maybe after Baron, Classy Badger does go up ordeals or just starts to dive that route. We'll get that early peek at who's sitting at the Vanilla Rubicant spot.
Oh boy, maybe we don't need to go to the moon after all. We got a adamant rock at the Baron Inn, so we've got a couple different routes here to potentially to go mode for our runners now. This overworld is stacked with the goods.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking for the Legend Sword now for that first objective, plus access to the underground. We've got the hook route, but that's still going to take some work to get through.
Scala in chat openly questioning whether she rolled a nice seed for our runners today. I think time will tell, Scala. Time will tell.
And it looks like Classy Badger is going to head into the sewer system here and make their way to Baron Castle to finish off that third objective. Or objective number 3, I should say. Their second objective.
Yeah. Now the only thing I noticed for Classy Badger here, and I'm just really hoping he'll duck in here going through the sewers, but did not pop back out and safety save before going into the castle route here. So yeah, let's hope it's smooth sailing, or he saves in the provided save spot. Ooh, pulls a Gungar Spear there. Not bad.
Yeah, not going to have to drop money on that. Back to shop now.
Kane must have thrown that into a trash bin or something while he was in Baron one of these times.
Bad training day. I'm sure it just got misplaced.
You know, sometimes we just get frustrated and throw things in the trash that we don't need to.
Found a Leviathan summon there too, but he did not choose to pick up Rydia back at the Baron Inn. And I can't say I blame him, given, you know, already having that Palom start.
Yeah, I can't either, although when you get that Leviathan, it does kind of sting a little bit, but I don't think this party is going to be hurting for mid-game damage options, which is where something like a Leviathan really shines. Hey, speaking of Leviathan... Speaking of characters in Baron Castle who are apparently leaving some of their important items in the sewer system. I don't suspect this fight's going to be giving our runners too much trouble, just because this spot is pretty slow and they both have pretty fast characters as their anchor. Plus, it's pretty low on magic defense. And the scary thing that you will run into sometimes with Leviathan is those Ice 2 spells can kind of knock you out if you're not ready for them. But I think in this case, it's not going to be too bad. Yeah, we can't even down a low-level Palom.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for one to come out. I mean, the big wave attack takes off 25% of your max HP for every character, but yeah, the magic attack low enough here that Palom only took less than 190 off of the nice 2. And we got Gundam probably coming in right behind him. Second fight of the Baron Inn, they're doing the vanilla karate.
Yeah, it seems like Gundam is kind of just following right behind Classy Badger, maybe just a couple. And we're back.
Yep, and looks like you've got an Ogopogo sitting on the Baron throne. So both Noodle Dragons in Baron Inn.
That was really confusing. I thought we had loaded back up and Classy Badger was still in the same fight. I was like, no, did he take a wipe? But yeah, it's the other Noodle.
So a whole nother set of big waves. Sometimes coming out 2 in a row over here, but Doesn't look like he's having any trouble with it so far.
Yeah, it's basically going to be the same strategy, I'm pretty sure. And it looks like Porum has Berserk now, so that's also going to be really nice. I did spot that Adamant in Gundam's inventory as well, so he was able to successfully take care of the Vanilla Karate and pick that item up. So here we go. And Classy Badger has completed the Ogopogo fight, taken out that Nope Noodle, that Nope Rope if you prefer, and has completed Objective 3.
Yep, and Gundam coming in right behind him. Ducked outside to save real quick, and so we'll get a character check and a key item check here.
Hey, Bursik, do you want to hear something funny?
What's that, Blaze?
You know how we were pointing out that there was that Leviathan summon in the Barren Sewer?
Yep.
There were actually 2 Leviathan summons in the Barren Sewer.
Oh.
Because I saw Gundam pull one from a completely different spot. Oh, and there's a power shirt that I don't think Classy Badger picked up, so what a loaded waterway. Holy cow.
Oh yeah. And plus we've got, for the castle itself, had a second edge available there.
Did Classy Badger pick up that second edge?
I did not catch.
I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on second edge. I'm always a little iffy on it, but I do know that we just checked that Baron weapon shop and it had full moon, so we know that there's some really good weapons available for a second edge close by if we decide to go that route.
Oh, the Magma Key. So not gonna have to do that hook route.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Second edge, you know, it with the weapons, with that weapon shop there, you know, if I can get access to full moons and, you know, full moon long tier items, like I can easily take that to Z. Kind of depends then what the rest of my party looks like, you know. Kane, Gungnir, it's okay mid game. I would really like to see, you know, like Defense Sword, White Spear. If I was going to take him further, I might actually pick that edge up there, given the access to weapons we have.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think so too. Seems like a pretty good early pickup, and this seed is looking awfully fast. We are now either a Darkness Crystal or a Legend Sword plus pass away from having full-on go mode here. Classy Badger checking out the Eblin cave shops, got some good loot, and then finds Bacchus wine, so that's pretty big.
Yeah, I think we also had coffins here. The second item was something good.
Yeah, it was coffins as well. You're right. So
Yeah.
definitely a really good shop here. He also had both of those Leviathans. So yeah, sells both of those. I guess that's pretty good cash in the pockets there.
Oh yeah. And plus he had one, he did pick up a siren. I think that might have been from Damson Treasury. And you know, he's gonna do some checks underground. I mean, we're still, yeah, like you said, we're still looking for Legend of Darkness. One egg down there can really help the party online.
Yeah, sounds right. As far as that siren, but now he's got 2 edges to also help him steal sirens if he doesn't want to go hunting for them. So he has picked up some new weapons here, has opted for some assassin daggers, which is interesting. It should also be pointed out in chat. I see a couple people talking about this. Classy Badger decided to keep Porum over Palom. I can think of a couple different reasons why I think that's a really good idea, but what do you think, Bursik? Do you like that play?
Personally, you know, this early on, still looking for some items. You know, if he does go up to the moon, if we don't find Legend, we do have to take out that Crystal Sword Altar. I would probably want to keep a Black Mage around, especially as Chad is pointing out, the Warp Glitch is on, and you know that's a free sealed cave check if you do Dwarf Castle.
That is a good call for sure on the Warp Glitch. I did not think of that. But beyond that, I will give you a couple of reasons why I like keeping the Porum around. So first of all, Porum already knows Berserk. And when Classy Badger had to make that decision, he didn't know that Bacchus Wine was going to be in Eblin Cave. So I like keeping Porum for that second source of Berserk in what is clearly going to be a Berserker party at the end, as well as Exit, which Rosa does not have Exit right now. So you would have been getting rid of your only source of Exit if you had gotten rid of Porum potentially.
Yeah, that's a good point. Rosa does not learn Exit naturally. You have to complete the Tower of Zot to have her pick that spell up.
I don't think there's a bad choice there, but I do want to... Very rarely do I come to the defense of Porum, but in this case I am absolutely on board with Team Porum, except for losing that warp. I do agree with you there. That's potentially a pretty major problem for Classy Badger if it turns out that Luca key item is what we need and he does not have access to that, whereas Gundam does.
Yeah, speaking of Gundam, he just picked up his Magma key. Definitely still has a Palom. I didn't see... Oh, he's definitely got 2 edges. It looks like he opted to get rid of the Porum in this game. Is that the only difference between like their choice of child?
Yeah, I think it's the same party. Other than that, I think he had a Sid before, so I think he had ditched Palom a little bit, or I'm sorry, he had ditched Porum even earlier. But
yeah.
But Sid would have been a nice anchor. I still think that's not a huge consideration right now. Oh, hey, Ninja Swords. But this is a very edge-friendly seed, so I think it'll be... We'll see kind of how the rest of it plays out. I do actually really like Gundam's ability to kind of close this gap a little bit here. Although not having... If he doesn't go check that Eblin route, he's not going to have those Bacchus wines, which potentially could be important. But has found better edge weapons, I would say, for his edges, so...
Yeah, he's opting for longswords, which he just found in Silvera. Didn't see if he checked the Baron weapon shop though. I'm not sure if either of those edges are back row glitched at this point.
Yeah, well, we got some edge. We have some edge divergence here, as we see a free boss fight at the beginning of Dwarf Castle. So interesting that Classy Badger is going here right away, considering that he can't do the warp glitch. So we might, although I'm sure Palom doesn't know warp yet, but depending on Gundam's routing, we might know the answer to that question about the warp glitch being valuable or not very, very soon.
And Dr. Cossack in chat asking if the Eblin character was checked. I'm pretty sure it was not.
Yeah, I don't think it was either. Yeah, I think these next couple minutes are going to be really important for Gundam, because you have a pretty clear way forward, I would say, to getting really to the end of this seed. You just have to find the Darkness Crystal, and you have to grind your team. Edge is going to be able to steal those Sirens for you, or to be honest, you probably have the money to buy them. So we've seen Classy Badger just kind of push ahead here, right into the Dwarf Castle, where he can't do the warp glitch. If Gundam kind of slows down for just a second on the key item checks and takes care of his grind, also validating with a child life specialist, very well done there. But I could see Gundam putting himself in a really good position here if he opts to go that route instead.
Yeah. And Dwarf Castle was full of royalty today. King Queen Eblin, followed by Odin as the second boss. Yeah, I'm wondering if Gundam, he instead of going straight to Dwarf Castle, he went to Tamra. I wonder if he'll check the freebies first. The chest down in Feymarch, which it looks like he's landing there. And then he can go do Sheila 1, Sheila 2 if he does happen to find the pan down here as well.
Yeah, that's another really good call because for both of our runners now, they're in a position where they're one key item away from go mode potentially. So I do like checking those freebies right away. So that could be another good decision here for Gundam.
Yeah, he could find the sirens down here in the Feymark shop as well. Like you said, he hasn't gone and checked the Evelyn Cave shops. We know there aren't sirens there, but he would probably really like to find those boxes.
To answer a question in chat from Nitsky, neither of our runners has touched ordeals.
So that was too fast. Did you see what was in the chest there?
I missed it, but they said it's a pass, yeah. So that's actually pretty big, because now we are truly either Legend Sword or Darkness Crystal away from go mode. So, and we got some hourglasses here in the shop. So no sirens yet, but honestly, if you asked our runners, it's like I don't think they would mind if they weren't able to find sirens as long as they remember that they can steal them. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Classy Badger checking here in Dwarf. Oh, wow. Hi, Scala.
Wow, darkness.
So Classy Badger's in go mode.
Yep. Definitely going to be... I was about to say might go unpunished for not having warp there, but you could still end up with Legend being at Sealed Cave, which could really change how this plays out.
Yeah, now wouldn't that be interesting? For sure. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes Gundam to get to Dwarf Castle here. I'm sure he won't put it off for too long. But yeah, the clock is ticking now. Classy Badger is in go mode. I do really like this setup for him as well. I think keeping that Porum turned out to probably be the right call. Can go ahead and use her as an agility anchor and still maybe throw out a Berserk or just use those Bacchus wines, or can just pick up basically any character at this point to replace that Porum once he is ready for either Zeromus or kind of that last fight. Because I don't know if he has a curse string or not. But either way, it shouldn't really matter too much, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if... Did Classy Badger even go to Nasidia and find those SIDs? Because that's where it was for sale.
Yeah, I don't think Classy Badger has been to either Mysidia or Kaipo to check the characters that are waiting there. So finding a Sid would be just perfect. He does get his pass as well, interestingly enough, so...
Yeah, and Gundam just ran into Dwarf. I think he's looking for sirens. Or it was mainly probably scouting for sirens, and it looks like none of the shops down here are going to have them. So he is headed towards doing a Sheila 1 check.
Oh man, I thought he was doing the fight, and I was really excited, even though he probably doesn't have warp yet. But there was like, no, Gundam, this is the right play. Do it. But no, Gundam being very, very smart and just checking for sirens, probably wants to make sure he has that warp before he does Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, that's a tough position to be in with this flag set, especially if you haven't found a black mage at all, you just kind of have to head into Dwarf and just, well, I'm not going to warp glitch, and I hope my opponent's in the same position. But having a Palom, you got to get up to level 29 with him in order to get warp, and that takes, I think it's like 3 or 4 eggs if you're talking about a level 10 Palom. So maybe one or two less, since he's been through a few fights.
Yeah, and I do think Gundam is making some really smart choices here by checking the freebies. I know we always say that as runners, or commentators, check your freebies, and he is absolutely doing that, and just kind of keeping him away from go mode at this point. But I don't think it's gonna keep him away for too long.
Yeah, just getting a Moonveil out of Sheila 1, that's got to be a little disappointing. So, what's open to him now is really just ordeals or heading down to Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping not he stays away from ordeals here, just so we get a nice finish. But we'll see. Does need some levels regardless to be able, if the warp glitch is kind of what's on his mind. So Classy Badger, by the way, did his one siren and got a nice swoon with those assassin daggers. So nicely done there. And we do see Gundam going up ordeals here.
Yeah, not knowing what the characters, or sorry, what the bosses are, and another Sid. Wow, we could have had 3 Sids. But not knowing what the bosses are in Dwarf Castle, I might be feeling a little underleveled. I don't know if he has that one siren that he could go pop, because that would probably bring him up to the point where he could. But you know, you could run into some real nasty bosses there, and we know that that's just not really the case today.
Yeah, it's just a tough position to be in for a runner, because this is like a really easy check for sure, but in terms of volume, I think I agree with you. Like, if I'm in a position where I'm 1 key item away from go mode, I'm also looking for experience. I think I would target Dwarf Castle as the play and just try to get myself up to that warp level using some sirens potentially before I did that. So like, Ordeals is an easy check. He's not going to have any problem with any of these fights probably, unless it's like a nasty maybe Golbez or something like that. But it's not as efficient as some other checks that might be available where you can get two at the same time potentially.
Yeah, and Classy Badger meanwhile has raised the big whales, headed up to the moon, heading straight for the Hummingway shop. Probably looking to see if we can get some sirens there. You know, would save them some time as opposed to stealing them with those edges.
Yeah, and K&H bringing up in chat, he might not know that you can steal them, because that is a fairly recent development in the free enterprise community. So that honestly wouldn't surprise me if that was the case for any kind of newer runner at this point. But the sirens are here.
Yep. So he's got to grind. See what he does. He sold off a few hourglasses to get those. Obviously, the way this has gone, sub 40-minute go mode, probably not going to get to 10 key items today. But we'll see if he decides to stay up here and maybe try and take out gold dragons. Looks like he might be doing a character check at the very least. Otherwise, I imagine he'll just hop back down to the underground and scramble some eggs.
Yeah, this is a really tricky position to be in for a lot of runners too, because it's like, okay, I know I have one thing that's keeping me from getting my crystal, but like how do I get to the levels that I need? Because in really short jetty seeds like this, it can be pretty difficult, honestly, to figure out your grind and kind of execute it properly. So I think a lot of times newer runners can struggle with seeds like this, and so it's going to be interesting to see what Classy Badger decides to do to get himself ready for the Zeromus fight and this Crystal Sword fight as well, potentially. I don't imagine this is going to be a free fight, because we've already seen so many of them.
Yeah, I think there's pretty limited options left. Something like maybe Dark Imps. He does have hourglasses, yeah. So we might see a little grind in here. Probably, you know, if he runs into something pretty tough, he probably doesn't have the levels to take it out quite yet.
I'm hoping for an alt gauntlet.
Ooh, he just opened up a chest. That's a risky proposition up in the lunar subterranean. It was not a trap chest, but you know, if that had been something like a double dragon fight or a behemoth, that might not have ended well. Based on the tracker, I missed it, but I'm guessing we picked up a package on the top of Ordeals for Gundam.
Yep, it was the package. So let's see what Classy Badger is going for here. Oh boy, this is going to be a little bit disappointing. Unfortunately, hourglasses do not work on some of the moon trap chest bosses, including behemoths and blue and red dragons.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I would be afraid if I was in his position.
Like, you can get through this fight, but you have to be like really careful. And I think we just saw a reset. Yeah, that's lesson learned for Classy Badger.
Meanwhile, Gundam is checking the Eblin Cave, at least the shop here. Wonder if he'll go and check the character as well, but probably mainly looking for sirens as well. Has not done Dwarf Castle yet to get the Darkness Crystal. Probably going to be pretty happy he just found Bacchus Wines, though.
Yeah, the Bacchus Wines will be nice. The longer... Since we know that those sirens are on the moon, that's going to keep Gundam away from those for as long as he does not have the Darkness Crystal and as long as he does not go steal sirens. So, all right, and Classy Badger is headed back to Earth.
Yeah, I imagine we'll just be scrambling some eggs now to get the levels for doing that Crystal Sword ult. Pretty sure he still hasn't checked the city at all, though. Just more or less ran around the crystal ring there.
Yeah, that's he's looking for the eggs, that is for sure. So I think we're going to see some egg grinding here. Yeah, and just to reiterate again to everybody in chat, I know there's a lot of speculation and stuff going on. For a lot of runners, especially runners that are not super experienced with this game, this is a really, really awkward spot to be in. Knowing that there's one difficult fight between you and Zeromus and not knowing for sure how to manage getting from point A to point B is like really, really challenging. So it's a good learning experience though for Classy Badger. I'm sure if nothing else, he has learned that you can't use hourglasses on behemoths today.
Yeah, and it looks like Gundam has chosen to just steal his sirens today. With 2 edges, that's not a bad idea. And if he even had a Porum in here for a little cry, that'd make it really quick.
Yeah, for sure. This is that is an interesting little thing that we have found out recently about this randomizer, is that Porum's cry ability actually flusters the alerts and allows stealing much more easily to occur. So, but yeah, Gundam is gonna steal all the sirens he needs right here. I really like this play. Can tell he is thinking about that warp glitch now. Probably gonna go ahead and be in go mode himself very, very soon here. And Classy Badger is going to need more sirens if this is the route that he decides to go for his grind as well. So we'll see if he knows he can go steal them, or if he ends up going back up to the moon to buy more, or just kind of how he decides to manage that as well here.
Yeah, I think he got about 8, and then he already had done one prior to that he had found in the overworld. But without 10 key items, probably going to need about twice that many if he wants to get at least the Rosa up to some safe levels for Big Bangs.
Yeah, they without the double XP, the eggs go pretty slow, even though they are free. Especially if you're using assassin daggers, which I'm taking notes on this for sure.
Yeah, he's getting. Has that been 100% so far on Steam? Because that's pretty nice. Skipping the hatch.
It sure seems like it. I know that somebody in the community, I don't want to say the wrong person, so I'm not going to say who it is, but they actually did some studying like how the swoon proc works, And I think it was basically perfected to the point that I remember in the Fabul Gauntlet, Invenerable doing basically this same strategy and getting swoon procs like 100% of the time. So there is a way to pretty much guarantee it. So yeah, Black Sword as well, Couch23 pointing out in chat.
Yeah, I thought if they're stopped, the chance of it happening goes way up, if not 100%. But as far as like an egg, I have never really considered this.
It's a good workaround. Oh, Gundampilotspaz gets a Masamune out of the one random chest that he decided to steal sirens from. So hey, that's a nice bonus there.
Oh yeah, and looks like he's going to heal up. Yeah, I didn't see how many he stole. If he got up to, I mean, he could be shooting for the long run here, not knowing that he's about to go into go mode, and only stealing about 10 or so. Hopefully, we'll get a peek at his inventory quick.
He was there for a while, so I'm pretty sure he stole quite a few. But yeah, like you say, like he is going to be in go mode very, very. Oh yeah,
he's got 20.
I think that's about the right number, though. Honestly. And also, yeah, there's been a nice conversation in chat about how status effects are tied to ATB, and if you're just attacking an egg, I believe it has 0 ATB, or if you're just attacking right away with that edge on the first like frame that you have it available, I believe that also would work.
Interesting. Classy has gone back up to the moon here. Looks like low 40s for levels and isn't going for more sirens. Looks like he's going to dive down into the subterranean again.
So we'll see if he decides to kind of go the same route with checking trap chests, or maybe just goes right to the crystal sword spot and sees if he can handle that now. There's a couple different ways you can maybe go about doing this. Yeah, low 40s for all those levels is not a bad position to be in, so... And we see Gundam going into Dwarf Castle now, so this is going to be... He was grinding for warp, he's got warp, he is ready to go now.
Yeah, as soon as he finds his darkness crystal. I mean, we will get the peek at the sealed cave. If that's Legend Sword, like, this is going to get real interesting real quick. But he's definitely got enough science to get to some pretty safe levels.
I want to see your bold prediction to come true of the Legend Sword being at the Luca Key spot.
I hope. I'm really rooting for it to be there.
It's about the last curveball I think the seed could throw at us.
Yeah, I mean, Classy here, as long as it's nothing that can trip you up too much, probably in a good position to get through the Crystal Sword Altar, and then he's already up on the moon. You know, if Legend is at that sealed cave, both runners already have the pass. Just scramble some eggs, and Gundam could be heading right to Troya.
Absolutely. Also, fun fact, I don't think this is going to come up in this race, but I believe we have done some timing. So if Classy Badger does the Crystal Sword spot, and that is kind of like where he ends up here, it's actually going to be faster to him to get to Zeromus by using Exit and then using the pass. He has that option because he has Exit. I don't think Gundam is going to have that option if it does come up, which is not a major thing, but it could be like a minute and a half potentially.
Classy, I don't see if he checked any other chests, but opened one up here just a little short of getting to the Crystal Sword Altar and finds another one of the Trap Behemoth chests.
He got a crystal ring out of a different chest. I don't think he equipped it though. I would 100% recommend to anyone with this option opening trap chests in the LST, put on your crystal ring. It will save your life. has a resistance to dragons, has extremely high defense, and +5 to most of your stats.
Meanwhile, Gundam has gotten through the Odin fight at Dwarf Castle. We got the ghostly hand of Odin grabbing the crystal off the altar there, and we should see him getting his darkness crystal and whatever's at sealed cave pretty soon.
Probably, yeah. Classy Badger's having a better time with the behemoth here, because instead of everybody getting one-shotted, they're getting two-shotted, but at the same time, the board AI is out in full force, and I think I saw at least 2 of his characters get sniped by being attacked while a cure spell was en route to them. So that is unfortunate.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the sealed cave did not have the legend sword. It had the already forged version of it. So we will not be seeing the forged objective completed today, probably.
You know, you can show it to Kokol and see if he'll give you the crystal, but I don't think it's going to work out.
Just try and convince him he already did it. Like, come on.
You made this, Kokol. Believe in yourself. And unfortunately, Classy Badger 0 for 2 against the behemoths here. That's hopefully not too frustrating a position to be in, because he is still in the lead here. Although Gundam is going to go scramble up all the eggs he needs here, and I think this is going to end up, assuming Classy Badger can get back on track here, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting finish to this race.
Yeah, looks like Gundam's going to be a little slower on the scrambling though, without those assassin daggers. We did see a hatch there, so we might continue to see that happen.
I think once Edge has a few more levels, that should tone down. But yeah, it's definitely not as efficient as what Classy was able to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one thing
right
about
there.
behemoths. Oh, go ahead, Bursik. Sorry.
Oh no, he just. Well, I think that was a crit, but yeah, he just one-shot that egg.
But yeah, I was just gonna mention to anybody watching in chat, if you get a behemoth trap chest like that, it's pretty. That behemoth is not going to do much unless you start attacking it. So you do have time to probably get a blink or 2 up, get your team set up and going, and definitely not panic if you get into that situation, because you should be able to grind it out, hopefully. The fights themselves aren't too difficult as long as you can kind of keep control of everything, so... And all they do is that single target attack. So, and usually it's a reaction. It's like a counterattack. They will occasionally attack on their own, but yeah, just get some blinks up and you should be okay. Kind of nerdy housewife pointing out that yes, a lot of us who did a lot of KT, the trap chests potentially having key items. We know all about some of these LST trap chest fights for sure. So
Classy is gotten up to the save point for the crystal altar here. Last chest between the behemoth one he just fought and that save point already open, so not tempted by that. And it looks like an Octomam. Ooh, this has a really high physical attack at this spot.
This should be okay. But yeah, this is a tricky fight potentially. Not free, but also gonna take a little bit of time to grind through, and yeah, get some berserks up, get some blinks up, Classy Badger. You'll be okay.
Yeah, with Octomam's script and every couple hits, losing another tentacle, slowing them down. These hits shouldn't be hard to keep up with once they've made a little progress into the fight.
Now that he's slowing down, absolutely. At first, it's a little bit scary. It's also pretty important if you're in Classy Badger's position, probably, that you want to keep all or most of your characters up right here. Because you want XP on all these characters. I mean, maybe Porum you've kind of designated as your agility anchor for that Z fight. Hard to say at this point, but either way, you want all of your characters getting XP here if you can help it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens after this. If they decide to grind up here or go back and grind in the underground, but what they're going to do about an anchoring situation. Because they do have the pass, so leaving the moon isn't a problem. Don't need to run all the way through the lunar core to get to Z.
Yeah, and in fact, like we were saying a second ago, it's even faster. So yeah, we'll see what Classy Badger decides to do as the Octomom goes down, and he is officially got his crystal ready to go here very shortly.
Or edge weapons.
This seat is so edge friendly.
Yeah. Looks like Gundam finished their grind. Raising the big whale now. Probably about to head right to where Classy Badger is. Might wonder if he'll be a little disappointed to see Sirens were waiting up on the moon. But, you know, they've done some of their grind already before even finding the Darkness Crystal.
Now, the good thing here for Classy Badger is he does know where those Sirens are, so hopefully is kind of keeping cool and calm here. Do we see him checking some agility as well? That's also really good. See what they decide to do here. And yes, that Porum coming in clutch with exit, as Plumeria Knight points out in chat.
Oh yeah, that's from that deep down, that's a pretty miserable walk back up. I can get confused trying to make that walk back up sometimes, because it's just uncommon.
Well, he is going to guess right here and get the curse ring the first try. Either that or he may have already known it was here too. I'm not sure. But yeah.
It looks like he's going in to sell stuff before even hitting the buy button, so he probably got a peek at it earlier. Selling the crystal ring though.
Yeah, I mean, again, unless you've used it and kind of get it or like know it, that item is crystal ring is really, really good. I would not have sold that. Also, sold the full moon, which is actually better than some of the edge weapons he's using right now. So it's not just a long range weapon; it's pretty much equivalent to a long sword in terms of attack damage. So.
Yeah, assassin biggins are interesting. They do have plus to some stats. I think they're plus strength and maybe minus agility. Or maybe it's plus both of those and just minus to some of the caster stats. But looks like maybe he's picking up a Sid here to anchor off of.
Yeah, I think he's looking for an anchor. He didn't check to actually buy there, so I don't think he knows that curse rings are available in that shop that he was just selling at. Yeah, but this is definitely an anchor play here. No Sid number 2, you can't come along also. I really hope he checks the buy screen here.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Wow. Oh boy.
I suspect he's going to go get more Sirens. Guess not.
I think there were hourglasses for sale here. Wonder... Oh, maybe shopping around for more equipment?
I suspect...
Oh,
yeah, okay. He knew about the ninja sword. That's what it was. That is a nice upgrade. I'm gonna say that. Classy Badger, that's a good decision right there to get off of Assassin Daggers and get onto a Ninja Sword. There is definitely a good move.
Yeah, I'm not sure he ever went to Silvera and found the long swords there, which of course aren't as good as Ninja, but probably a little better than the Assassin Dagger. Looks like he's gonna be diving right into Z though. Rosa's sitting at less 1650 for health. That's a dangerous number.
I mean, does no cure 4. Gonna need to nerf Big Bangs, I think, to get through this. So I guess we'll see how this goes. I don't know for sure that this is going to be a winning strategy, but I guess if you can nerf some of those Big Bangs, you might be able to get through with the Bacchus Wines. I don't know.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gundam is in the Octoman fight right now. You know, his levels are a little higher. His Rosa's up in the about 1750. So he may or may not, once he finishes, decide to grind a little as well.
Yeah, we are going to see the Z fight here from Classy Badger, so let's get some Z flags out in chat. And Bursic, it is time. You get to ask the question that we all ask during every race here, unless we're getting teased, but I don't think we are. I think this is going down.
Yep. Just gonna give it a moment and make sure we commit to this portal.
He's a Classy Badger. He would never fake us out like this.
All right, folks. So, as Blaze set up, whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
Nicely done. And as he's getting into the Z fight here, it should be worth pointing out, Gundam has finished up that Crystal Sword Altar, has the crystal now, and I believe already has his levels, so I suspect we're going to see a couple Z fights going on simultaneously here very soon.
Oh, wow. Looks like, is that Kraken from Final Fantasy 1?
Release the Kraken, and yes, it is.
So I probably should have added a little more to the statement earlier, but we have, instead of just going with the normal Zeromus sprite after you use the crystal and get him to transform, we have over 400, is it maybe even 450 at this point, different sprites for Zeromus. And I believe, are all of them done by Shalakitty, or just most of them?
Most of them are done by Scala. I know there's a few that are sort of board face originals as well. So, but yeah, between the two of them, I think that accounts for pretty much all the Z sprites that are in the game.
Yeah, and just since, you know, bringing her up, give a shout out to our runners, of course. Go give them a follow, and the rest of our restream team, with Scala doing the restream today, making sure everything is going smoothly, and then Kinda Nerdy Housewife doing the tracking.
Yeah, both doing a great job. Classy Badger getting into the Crackamus fight here, and this is going to be a nerfed Big Bang. It doesn't look too bad so far. I'm seeing most of the DPS going for... Okay, well that swing by Kane wasn't very good, but most of the edges were swinging for about 2,000 each. which you can grind the fight out with that, but the problem is just going to be an actual full Big Bang is probably going to wipe the party or very close to wipe the party. So one good thing I do see Classy Badger doing here is that Kane is not berserked. So Kane you might be able to use Kane to get Rosa back up if you can keep him alive. But yeah, this is going to be an uphill slog for Classy Badger here.
Yeah, Gundam did opt to use at least one more Siren up on the moon for a double gold dragon fight. Is using Palom as their anchor through a curse ring on him. I didn't see what his agility was after that. It's a little too fast. But he's probably going to have a little more stable of a setup going into this fight as he makes his way through the lunar core.
Yeah, and Gundam did make it the trek down to Evelyn and find those Bacchus wines as well, so he doesn't even really need Rosa to cast Berserk. Can kind of use her for healing. Here comes that Big Bang. Don't think Edge is going to get there.
Yeah, the black hole did come out. Could try and pick up Rosa real quick here, get a Cure 4 out. But this is a pretty tough position to be in now.
Yeah, picks up the Edge. And there's another Big Bang, so...
And, Flammarion Knight bringing up Life 2 in chat. I don't think Rosa actually has Life 2 at her current level on Classy Badger's side.
Yeah, I think that there's a way to do this fight, but it definitely involves leaving Kane out of the battle. It involves lowering the battle speed and just using Rosa to Cure 4. Well, actually, I don't even know if Rosa has Cure 4. I don't think you can do this. 4, I saw a Cure 3 in the battle, so... Like, I don't know how... I don't think you can do this without Cure 4, but you could... There is potentially a scenario where you use Kane to nerf the Big Bangs and Rosa to throw out Cure 4s and then just hope you get lucky with, like, counter nukes and different things like that while the edges take it down. I just don't know if this is a setup that Classy Badger is going to be able to pull off. It's pretty ambitious. Meanwhile, Gundam is into the Z fight as well. Now his Rosa's at about 2,050 hit points, which is still not great. Like it's a little low, honestly, still. But I think the edges are going to be doing some more damage. It looks like Kane's in a pretty good spot, so I think on the whole should be fine. Also, Palom very nicely stepping in front of that counter nuke there. So
yeah, I love it when your anchor takes the counter nuke right off the bat.
And nothing of value was lost.
And it looks like if both edges are doing upwards of... Oh, wow. Well, that one's hitting for 4K. He's probably got the Masamune that he found in the lower battle. At least it's like 7,000 around here between his Berserkers. Probably going to be easily get to phase 2 at least.
Yeah, Gundam's edges are hitting for quite a bit more. Remember, he also did pick up that power shirt in the Barren Waterway that I'm pretty sure Classy Badger missed along the way.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I'm concerned about here with Gundam is your Rosa is a little bit low on HP, and if you take a Big Bang at the wrong time, with everybody else berserked, you could definitely lose the fight if you're in a weird spot damage-wise. But I do think the damage output is much higher, so this is going to be pretty good, I think, for Gundam, as long as he doesn't get like Big Bang into Medio combo specialed, as we like to jokingly say.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling to have a Big Bang and then immediately get hit in the face with a few rocks. You don't want to see that when you're just at the end of your fight.
And Classy Badger is in a pretty good spot, I think, here. Does look like he has everybody berserked. Not sure what Rose is casting. I missed when he picked the spell. Oh, looks like a Cure 3, but don't think that's gonna do anything here. And here comes a Big Bang. That was a nerfed Big Bang. I think he was trying to time the Cure 3 so that it came out right after that Big Bang, so that maybe he could follow up with another one. Does have Cure 4. Okay, there we go. I wasn't sure. I was like, I'm pretty sure Rosa has Cure 4 at these levels, but it's close. It's like right around when she would lose or get it. So that should help for now, but now you need to get this next Big Bang nerfed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gundam just took a big bang over on his side. It looked like he might have been trying to nerf it. A Silk Web came out, and it seemed pretty late in the fight for that. I don't know if he just didn't do it at the beginning as well. But it looks like he's picking up pretty well after that.
Sounds like it was potentially a nerf. I missed it as well, but yeah, that can be tricky, especially on Battle Speed 1. Nerfing Big Bangs is really, really hard to do.
Couch pointing out his initial Silk Web missed, so he's still needed one. But he does have Rocks Fallen on his side.
Okay, so yep, I think this is gonna turn out fine for Gundam here, because he just picked up a full HP, very powerful edge. Darting the Excalibur, maybe we'll get some swag here.
Not
just more
quite
rocks.
Enough. Yeah. Yeah, you got about, when you get into media, you've got somewhere around 12k left. And there's the flash.
GG's to Gundampilotspaz, winner of this race with a final time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 15 seconds. We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. And Classy Badger is still alive in the second Z attempt, so hoping he can bring it on home as well here. Still alive in the second Z attempt, so hoping he can bring it on home as well here. Hi Gundam, I hear me on your end, and also GG's. GG. Yeah, we're gonna get that echo fixed, and then I think we'll go ahead and get an interview with Gundam here in just a second.
Hey, sorry about that. I can hear you now. Hello.
You're good. Hi, and I can't hear myself anymore, so this is perfect. GG's, and congratulations on your first place finish today. Tell us your overall kind of thoughts on that race. It was quite the jet seed.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely a jet seed. You know, I didn't think it would have been. You know, obviously going into it, you know, finding the hook with the moon objective, I didn't expect it to be over in 1 hour and 14 minutes, but boy, was I happy to see that magma key after Baron, and then the last you know, the last couple objectives just fell in my lap very quickly after that. The only thing I wish I didn't do, and Classy and I were talking in the race room, but he faded it completely. But the only thing I wish I didn't do was the ordeals check. That just kind of ate up a little bit of my time. But I've gotten stung by completely fading ordeals before, so I want to route it in somewhere.
So what were you feeling going into the underground after finding that magma key? At that point, I was feeling a little bit ahead. I was kind of hoping that my opponent may have tried to dive the hook route before doing the objectives. That was of course a prayer rather than
something I was betting on, but my heart sank a little bit. Underground. My heart sank a little bit. When I didn't find sirens immediately. That was disheartening. And then B, when I found that demist in the Fey March, and I kind of was really hoping I didn't have to slog through that, and what otherwise was looking to be a pretty fast seed.
Yeah, I think you'll watch this back, I'm sure, and it was actually really interesting for us to watch because Classy had go mode probably, I want to say 10 to 15 minutes before you did.
Wow.
But he really struggled to grind. Had a couple unfortunate run-ins with some behemoths on the moon, for one thing, but it was just really interesting to watch. It seemed like you were playing very deliberately, and you kind of knew what you wanted to do next. You were making like really good, clear decisions from what we could tell. Do you feel pretty comfortable in jet seeds at this point? Because I know for a lot of runners, they can be very uncomfortable.
No, I definitely do not feel comfortable in jet seeds. My party comp and it just kind of lended itself to this seed. But if I didn't have those edges, I feel like I would have been in big trouble. I'm not even sure what I would have done. Obviously, if I had a Tela, it would have been a D machine. But I think without the edges, I would have been in a much worse situation.
So with this win, you moved to 1-1. Have you kind of scattered out the rest of the hook routes 1-1 pool for who you might be up against next week? Got any?
Well, I was
like to run into.
I was thinking about that before the race started. If I moved to 1-1, essentially my opponent pool at that point is like half of hook route. This is the people who won one race and then lost, and the people who lost one race and then won, and it's gonna be it's a huge pool. I'll have to comb through and see exactly who's in there. There's still a lot of really great runners who took one loss in the hook route and then picked up a win. So I'm hoping to make that plan, but I'm just really glad I can stay in the tournament for at least one more match.
I mean, I have to say, because I was scouting the results for both you and Classy before the match started, just to kind of see like how things had been going. Yeah. And like, man, you had so many close losses. Like, you had losses by like less than 5 minutes. You had a loss by, I think your worst loss was by like 14 minutes or something. So I got to think you feel pretty good in most matchups right now.
Yeah. I'm honestly like, I've been playing really well in the 1-on-1 races. I think the pressure, it does me well. Like I perform better at this than I do like in the asyncs or in private practice. Like, and I think, I did have a couple heartbreaking losses, and both my last two matches before this, I basically was entering the Z fight when the done came in from the opponent, and my match against Slippery, who ended up moving on the tables, I only lost that one by 32 seconds. So definitely a bunch of close races, and in all those instances, I'm pretty happy with the way I played overall. But it doesn't matter how well you play if your opponent plays 1 second more efficiently.
Well, I think we both thought you played really well today, and GG's again on the win. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people out there who are 1-on-1 in the hook route who are hoping that you do not come up as their opponent next week for sure. So,
thank
great
you,
race
thank
today.
you, Blaze.
GG's.
Yeah, thank you to both of you. I appreciate it, and thank you to Scala Kitty for the restream and KNH for the tracking. It's been a really, really great time participating in the tournament and just being a member of the community. So looking forward to my race next week, and then just watching the rest of the tournament as it unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like you're running out to give us music here, so we're gonna kill a few more minutes here with you. I know you've been doing some restream stuff too, Gundam. So thank you as well for all of your help with that. It's been great to have you helping us out throughout this entire event so far, and we still got a long way to go. So
Yeah, doing commentary has been really fun, and the tracking's good. I was been hoping to jump onto Restream as well to take some of the burden, because I know that's like the smallest pool of volunteers. So I hope to really have a long weekend. Maybe finally I'll sit down and actually figure it out. But yeah, I mean, everyone in the background is just they're very eager to volunteer, and they put in a lot of hard volunteer work to make this tournament happen. And I know everybody watching really appreciates it too. You could just tell by chat.
I mean, it's been great just to have kind of like wall-to-wall free enterprise a lot of days. We've been having a lot of matinee matches. We've been having a lot of like really jam-packed days. Like, let me just tell you all what's going on for the rest of the weekend, just to get you all squared away here. So in about 20 minutes over on RPG Limit Break, we're going to have Poidirek versus Smapety, which, oh my gosh, I'm really looking forward to that one. That is a 1-0 Magma group match. And then later on tonight on Free Enterprise at 8 p.m. Eastern, we've got Crimson Avix versus Kedril, which I believe is an 0-1 Magma Group match. And then we've got on Randomania 2, I believe, also at 8 p.m., Min the Mage and Chokasura, which is, I believe, is another Magma Group match. So we got a lot of really good races coming up the rest of the day today. Tomorrow we have got Marty 56 versus Alicel on Free Enterprise at 3 p.m. That is going to be the last, or either the last or second to last match of the second week. It is the last, I'm getting word. And we also have a runner review coming up tomorrow. I will double check the details on that, but it is music time.
And that runner review, as someone who watched that race live, it's probably one of the most quality races so far of the tournament. I'm really excited to hear those runners' commentary over it.
Yeah, that's going to be Baka Shinobi and Penguinator from the original. I believe that's from the original round robin group, and that's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise. And hey, Kakariko Village. All right. Well, while we are just listening to a little more harp here, I just want to quickly shout out again our entire Restream team for today's race. Scala Kitty on the Restream, Kind of Nerdy Housewife tracking, myself and Bursik Badger on the comms. I know we would all appreciate it if you would consider giving us a follow. We also have our two runners, Classy Badger and Gundampilotspaz, also definitely deserving of a follow from you here on Twitch. And we are just gonna head on out here, I believe. We might. Oh, I'm sorry. We have another interview. I apologize.
Don't forget about me.
Never. We never forget our Badger friends.
No way.
Yeah, GG, Gundam.
GG's.
I mean, Classy, you had a really great start to that seed. You found the edge first, you found the hook first, you found the Baron key first, you found the magma key first, you found the darkness crystal first, and then it just didn't come together at the end there. So how do you think overall about how that seed went for you?
Yeah, I felt I was doing really good in the beginning. I don't like jet seeds like that because I get super nervous because like that one literally the objectives chained into themselves. So you know most likely that your opponent is probably right behind you, so you don't get too much time to kind of wheel and deal a little bit to try to check other things. So I figured I was going to cut Mysidia out entirely to try to cut some time there. I think I really made two big mistakes. Well, one mistake twice was doing the moon and getting the monsters and getting Behemoth. I knew that ate up a lot of time, and the only reason I think I was checking those chests is because I was trying to find things to sell to possibly get an extra siren or two, or to get an extra ninja blade for my other edge. And then I felt the first wipe on Zeromus, I didn't quite set it up ideally. I'm still kind of being fairly new, still kind of iffy on like how exactly to set up the Zeromus fight. Felt I was super close in that second fight, but I think Gundam just had a few extra levels on top of me that maybe pushed it over to the difference.
Your second Z fight was pretty impressive. I mean, being able to get to Meteo phase, which means you're somewhere under 12,000 HP left, with the levels you had, is really good. But I totally agree. Like, jet seeds can be terrifying. Like trying to balance, how much you level versus when are you gonna go. It can scare the heck out of me.
Yeah, like I knew that probably Gundam was right behind me. Otherwise, I would have done like maybe a few extra checks for just like some extra items, like I said, to sell to get sirens or get some better equipment, or just things like that. But I knew after the 2 wipes that I had in the lunar subterranean that I couldn't even afford to do that. So I had this really hard dilemma. It's like, okay, I could either take the 66,000 I had, go buy 1 to maybe 2 more sirens from the moon to get those extra levels there, or just get the other Ninja Blade for Edge and hope that pushed it over. And this time it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I think you might have been able to make it work that first time, and I don't think there was anything significantly different about your setup the first time versus the second time, unless maybe I missed something in that little interim. But I do think when you watch this race back, you're going to see maybe a few things that Gundam did that, you could learn from for the future. I'm sure you learned a few things going through the seed for the future. I know we pointed out, and I'm sure you know this, you will never forget this again now, is that hourglasses do not work on behemoths.
Yeah, that one I was like, oh sweet, I'll just hourglasses, get a huge chunk of experience, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's just a lot of little things, but I mean, overall, the way you played that seed was really impressive, and I just have to echo what Bursic said as well, which is that second Zeromus fight that you did, you managed it really, really well and almost got it across the finish line, and I know we were all rooting for you there.
Yeah, I think to Bursic's thing, the only thing different I did in the first fight that I didn't do the second, that I did it correctly in the second fight, was because originally I had used Kane to cast the Silk Web, which missed because of that whole thing. So the second time around, I berserked up Kane and then made sure to just use Rosa to use the Silk Web, so that actually landed. Other than that, I think that was the only thing different I really did. But yeah, a lot of things to learn. A lot of things to learn from that seed. Just going, even though I didn't win a single race, I learned a lot from this. I'll probably definitely more intrigued to start doing more of the community races, kind of get better and better at learning the randomizer for this.
Yeah, I think it's been, because you just kind of mentioned you're 0-2 now, so you're going to still play for Pride, I hope, next week. But I know that this was, I'm pretty sure this was your first event, and just general takeaways, general thoughts. It sounds like you're still pretty enthusiastic about the randomizer as a whole. Yeah,
I still love the randomizer. It's got a great community, a lot of people who are willing to help answer just about any question. Because the other randomizer I do a lot of speed running for, or I do a lot of racing with, is the Worlds Collide, the Final Fantasy VI one. And I like Free Enterprise because it's normally, most of the time, it's sub 2 hours. And like this one, it was like 1 hour and 15. And we were done. So I like that I can get 1 to 2 seeds in a night, even after work, and not just have like this long slog. It's gotten to the point where it's very compact and very manageable in its time length, unlike some other randomizers I'll mess around with.
That's really cool. I'm glad to hear. And yeah, shout outs to Worlds Collide as well. That's another really fun one that's floating around out there now. So, but yeah, really glad to hear that you enjoyed the experience of running in the event, and we'll keep an eye out. Hopefully you'll get a win next week, get on the win column, even if you're just playing for Pride. But I'm sure you're feeling pretty good about how you're learning and developing as you get more into the game here.
Oh yeah, even if I go 0 for this entire time, I mean, compared to my first seed against Dusty Griff, who was in my pool, to like this most recent, I felt like every time I raced, I learned something new, which is always signs of improvement, so I can't be too angry.
Yeah, you had a really competitive first round group as well. So
yeah,
like 0-3 in that group is not a sign of anything.
when they did that reveal, and I was like, Dusty, because I don't know a lot of the Free Enterprise racers too much, so they're like, Dusty Griff, forget who else was all in my family. They're like, oh, that looks like it's gonna be a nasty one. I was like, oh yay me. So.
Hey, though, you got to play the best, though. At least with Dusty,
Yeah.
I know. I think most of us would agree he's up there for sure. So, but yeah, really, really glad to have had you for the event. I know 2 Badgers is always better than 1. So, Bursic, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask about or commiserate about here at all before we head on out for the evening?
Just I guess just the character choice in Baron. I mean, I wouldn't turn down under the circumstances. I wouldn't turn down a second edge, especially with the weapons that were available. But how did you choose about who you were going to kick out for that?
Trying to remember who I dropped. I dropped the Palom, right?
I think the Palom. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not... The reason for that is mainly because I'm not as good with Reflect strats, and I haven't really practiced or even mixed strats where I have Berserk and Reflect, so I was like, okay, I would much rather just take my gamble with having 2 edges in the cane to do Berserk strats I'm more comfortable with than trying a strategy I'm not too comfortable with. And that was kind of also what I hit to when I got when I went to go get the Mysidia checks for my agility anchor. I was like, okay, I can either drop my cane here and keep 2, Porum and Rosa, or I can just try to have Rosa single heal this thing. So there was kind of some of that stuff that I was just a little bit unsure of.
Gotcha. And yeah, I mean, especially after you found Bacchus, I mean, with the anchoring choice, you don't really need the Porum in that situation.
We did like though. There were some advantages there, and you didn't need the warp as it turned out anyway, which was pretty fortunate. But yeah, having that exit on the moon, which Gundam didn't have, could have been pretty relevant if that had been a little bit closer at the end there. So.
Yeah, when I was at the moon, there was that option there. I was like, okay, I could just go to Zeromus just right now, but I didn't have an agility anchor, so I was like, and from just my beginner strats, I was like, I always generally need a agility anchor there, just to make that fight a little bit easier. So I was like, okay, well, I might as well just use exit this way. Otherwise, if I felt a little bit more comfortable, I probably could have just gone straight to Zeromus and maybe had a little bit of a time edge. On Gundam, I'm not sure, but that was just kind of my thinking on it.
Yeah, I mean, it could have made a difference, especially because you were pretty much a full-on Berserker party. Gundam ended up using his Palom as an anchor, so it really didn't get to have any benefit from having that Palom in his party, aside from, I guess he had Lit 3 for that Octomom fight, but I really thought that was a good decision once it turned out that the warp glitch didn't really pay out, because you were much more oriented towards a Berserker strat, like you were kind of alluding to there.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was the direction I had to go, especially once and that was one of the things I did think of when I was dropping Porum. I was like, okay, this is giving up the warp glitch, and that's kind of the make or break moment. And thankfully for me, like you said, it did turn out to be in my favor that time.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a really interesting decision point in a race that had a lot of pretty interesting decision points for sure. And it's too bad you came up a little bit short, but we really enjoyed watching your race again. So thank you for allowing us to restream you today.
Awesome, I appreciate it, and it's a lot of fun doing all these races.
Really cool, and yeah, very nice to have you for your kind of like your maiden event, probably not the last one for you here, and that is C1 Badger. Thank you so much for letting us have this interview. And we're going to head on over now. We're going to raid Penguinator, who is doing, I believe, some free enterprise practice, probably. But yeah, we're going to be raiding Penguinator. But we do just want to remind everybody as well, there is another race that is, the broadcast should be going live on RPG Limit Break in less than 10 minutes. And then in about 25 minutes, you can see Poydrak versus Smapety with Marty56 and Couch23 on the mics, and that should be a really good one. So be sure to come back for that, but also say hi to Penguinator in the meantime.